your time. Welcome.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name's Ryan Chamberlain. I'm with Kelly Minks. I'm the local Crescor rep here. I'm going to talk to you guys today about your roast and hold oven. As I mentioned, these are the older controls. They've been updated since, so you might see a difference from school to school just depending on what they are, but they all work the same. Okay? First thing you want to do, and I'm going to pretend like I just came in the morning. First thing you want to do is preheat the oven. That's the very first thing if you guys are planning on using it for lunch period. Just flip the switch on and turn it all the way up to 180 degrees and let it preheat for about an hour or so.
It'll beep when it's preheated.
Thank you. It will beep when it's preheated and let you know that it's ready to go. Once that is done, you can then adjust your hold. We'll start with the hold. And we all know you hold typically between most people 140 and 160, maybe even 165, depending on what product you have in there. So you'll want to set your hold temp to, again, this is just for an example. It's still preheating. You'll set your hold. I'm going to set it at 150. And then let's say you're cooked, depending on what product you're cooking, you could cook, let's say 250 degrees. Set your timer. Press start. It'll go right in to your cook phase. Okay? And once that timer is done, the oven will kick into hold.
It'll beep at you too.
It'll beep at you again and let you know that it's done, and it'll go right into hold. Okay? So right here, obviously you see the toggle switch on off. Your timer. This is the temperature inside the oven. This is your hold temp, and this is your cook retherm temp.
How high does the temp go?
Temp goes all the way to 350, and that's the max allowed to operate out from under a hood. So this doesn't technically need to be under a hood. You could put this in any other space as long as you have the correct power for it, which makes it kind of unique and the ability to cook in places you wouldn't normally be able to cook. Okay? I love how you guys already have your instructions here. This is great. Looks like it works pretty well. I do have a manual with me today, so if you need more copies of that, I'm more than happy to send digitally. Leave that copy today. So that's normal operation. I do want to touch briefly on cleaning for the oven. Sounds like we've already had a good conversation with some of the staff on their recommendations for cleaning. These are all universal angles, so these are all removable. You can wash those in your 3-comp or the dishwasher. It's all stainless interior. Again, these can all be removed. I'd recommend pulling those out prior to cleaning the oven. For general cleaning, hot soap and water works well. For a more deeper clean to get some of the grease off, it recommends some sort of oven cleaner will work for that. So I would always kind of spot treat it to see how it does first, but then make sure you come back, wipe it clean, and then come back behind it with some clean water and wipe the surface off. Turn the oven on for 45, 50 minutes and kind of burn off that excess moisture, and then you should be ready to go. Okay? And then hot water around the gaskets because you will get some food buildup over time. And then stainless steel cleaner on the exterior if you guys want it to look sparkly and shiny. So that's kind of the oven in a nutshell. Pretty straightforward. Any questions? Any concerns? Any comments? It is very straightforward.
What items do you use most that you think we get the best results from?
Great question.
Rice.
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 Okay.
Beautiful.
Beautiful for rice.
Yes.
Gentle heat. The fan does radiate in the cabinet. Nice evenness.
Yeah.
Do you cover it or do you leave it uncovered?
I cover it.
Okay, perfect. That's what I'd recommend just because the moisture, you lose some of that.
It also will reheat rice.
It does.
I just throw it in when I cook the other rice, and I usually put it on the bottom because it gets hotter on the top and comes down. So
And that's
I put my reheat rice on the bottom.
And that's-
mark it.
that's a
And
good
it
point.
Comes out beautiful.
Reheat rice.
Yeah, because it is a cook retherm oven, so it is intended to rethermalize proteins, starches, vegetables, and just like anything else, and I'm sure everybody's learned, when you put something cold in, it does take a little bit for that heat to come back up. It will kick itself on, but it sounds like you figured it out. You could either do it on a lower temp, maybe around 200 degrees, maybe 225, to retherm it, You don't want to turn it up too hot,
Right.
but you also want it to penetrate the product. And it sounds like you figured it out as far as moving some of the other items around.
Do you have any recommendations on products you think this performs well?
I mean, for you guys, I mean, what do you typically retherm? I don't meet a lot of school districts that retherm rice. I'll be honest with you.
I do.
Okay.
And it works great.
Any other rethermalized products you guys use in kitchens? Okay.
Some of the elementaries use them for chicken patties.
Yeah, for cooking, absolutely does well for fries, for patties, or to chicken patties, burgers. I mean, even baking, you can use. I don't know, you guys don't do a lot of fresh breads, cookies. If you're doing cookies,
And I've seen some use leftover pizza.
you can do that too. You can also use it for holding if you needed to, as well as another holding cabinet. If you get really slammed during lunch and you're like, I need more space, just flip it into a hold and you have another holding cabinet.
And Debbie, what did you use yours for at Madison?
At Madison, we used it to cook our chili,
Yep.
soup.
Chili, tomato soup.
You put them in hotel pans.
Yes.
Absolutely, that will work.
We did not use it for French fries.
Okay.
It was too moist in there.
Okay, too much product.
Yeah.
For French fries?
Yeah, and
And maybe this is different and newer because this has been quite a few years.
I know why, because that excess moisture gets kind of trapped in here,
Okay.
and really the only way to remove it is to open the door and allow some of that moisture to escape. They've since changed that with some of the newer models. They have dampers on the doors that allow for a little bit more air circulation. But you still can cook them in there.
We also cooked a lot of pizza
Yeah.
in
Pizza?
ours and cooked and held because it was such a small kitchen.
Yeah.
And we only had bare minimum oven space. That became an oven and a holding box for it. It was perfect.
This looks like it slides if you can get this open. You see these vents right here? Looks like it does vent a little bit. But it looks like it might be stuck a little bit. Let me see if I can move it. And I can mess with that. But there is a small vent that it does allow for some moisture. So I can understand why
Yeah.
you may not get the crispiest of
No,
fries.
they didn't crisp.
Okay. I mean, it's holding rice, veg, starch, cookies, retherm. I don't know. You guys don't do any breads, I'm sure. Not much of that.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. So I don't know. I'd have to look at the menu. I don't know exactly what you guys are using them for besides the rice and holding. So and maybe some pizzas.
Ellen, not already turned now.
Yeah.